Hi, this is Becky Johnson with Sweetheart Quilt Design Company, and I'm excited to be here with you today. This is the first in our series of 8 binding videos that we'll be doing. And this one is on how to trim your quilt. Now, when we trim our quilt, we want to trim it 1/8 of an inch past the outside of your border. And the reason is so that when you put your binding on, it's not feeling empty. It's not feeling kind of hollow. Now, the other thing that's important to note is the quilting process itself actually shrinks your quilt, because this is an exaggeration, but so you get the point. It pulls the fabric down and then it goes back up. So depending on how the quilting goes, your perfectly straight binding could end up with a little bit of waviness to it. Or not binding, border. It's all those B words in quilting. Your perfectly straight border that you put on could be a little wavy, but we don't want to put the binding on wavy. So what we're going to do is trim our quilt with a straight line. So as I lay it on here, and a couple of points it went way in, so I might give it a tug or two to see if I can pull it out a little bit. But there's a little bit of waviness. So what I'm going to do is average that and cut it in a straight line. And then when we put our binding on, we'll work with that straight line instead of the edge of the quilt top. And item of note, I have an old mat that I saved because just to cut this stuff, because the fibers in the batting can get down into these self-healing mats. Okay, a little bit more, and we'll be cut. I got that a little wider than I wanted, so I'll just go back and trim it just a little bit more. Okay, so then we have our 1/8 inch extra that will fill out our binding. And we've got a nice straight line. You can see it's the amount of white you can see isn't necessarily even. And that's what I was talking about. The border can be a little bit curvy, but this way we can straighten out our binding. All right, so we'll see you in the second video. Thanks a bunch.